Sometimes all it takes is one verse to change the entire direction of your life. Words can shape destinies, lift spirits, and heal wounds that even time could not touch. But when those words come from divine inspiration, they carry an energy that is far beyond human logic. They echo through the soul like a gentle voice reminding you that you were never alone, even when you thought you were. The right verse can reach into your pain and turn it into purpose. It can transform confusion into clarity. And it can remind you that no matter how lost you feel, there is always light waiting for you at the end of the tunnel. Many people spend their lives searching for meaning. They read countless books, listen to endless advice, and chase success, hoping to fill an emptiness they can't describe. Yet one single verse, just a few lines, can reveal what years of searching could not. Because divine truth doesn't need to be long to be powerful. It only needs to be received with an open heart. The right verse can speak directly to your situation, no matter who you are or where you are in life. It bypasses the intellect and reaches straight into the spirit, where real transformation begins. When you truly meditate on such a verse, something starts to move inside you. It's not dramatic or loud. It's gentle, like a calm breeze after a storm. You feel peace returning, hope awakening, and strength rising quietly within. You begin to understand that God doesn't always change your circumstances immediately. Sometimes He changes you first. That's the power of one verse. It realigns your heart with His will, and once your heart is right, everything else begins to follow. So before you rush through life, pause for a moment. Let yourself feel what these words mean. Don't just hear them. Let them sink into your being. Because once you truly understand the message hidden in one divine verse, you'll realize that transformation doesn't start with doing more. It starts with believing deeper. That's where your new life begins. The verse that has changed countless lives is found in Psalm 46:10. Be still and know that I am God. It's simple, yet so profoundly deep that you could spend a lifetime uncovering its meaning. In a world that constantly tells us to move faster, to do more, to achieve more, this verse invites us to do the opposite, to stop, to pause, to breathe, to remember that we are not the center of the universe. It's as if God is whispering, you don't have to carry everything on your own anymore. When God says, be still, He is not telling you to be passive or lazy. He's inviting you to trust. He's teaching you the sacred art of surrender. Stillness is not inactivity, it's inner alignment. It's the calm that comes when you realize that you don't have to fight every battle, because some battles are meant to be won by faith, not by force. Be still means stepping aside and letting God do what only He can do. It's a spiritual discipline that requires courage to stop controlling, to stop fearing, and to stop doubting His plan. The next part of the verse, and know that I am God, is the foundation of faith itself. It reminds you that He is not confused, He is not late, and He is not absent. He is sovereign, constant, and infinitely wise. He sees the details you cannot see. He knows the reasons behind every delay, every closed door, and every tear you've cried in secret. When you truly know that He is God, peace replaces panic, faith replaces frustration, and surrender replaces stress. You start walking through life with quiet strength because you're no longer trying to be the hero of your own story. You've let the author take control. This verse isn't just a comforting line. It's a commandment, a revelation, and a lifeline. When you live by it, everything changes. Your reactions change, your relationships change, your inner dialogue changes. You begin to carry yourself differently, not because life got easier, but because your faith got stronger. When storms come, you remember, be still. When fear whispers, you answer, I know He is God. And in that sacred knowing, you find the peace that the world can never give and can never take away. We live in a world that never stops talking. Everywhere you turn, there's noise, phones buzzing, news flashing, people competing for attention, and thoughts racing through your mind at 1,000 miles per hour. The more connected we become, the less peace we seem to have. You wake up to notifications and go to bed with worries. You scroll, you compare, you chase, and in all of that motion, you lose the quiet sound of your own soul. That's why the divine call to be still feels like a whisper in the middle of a storm. It's an invitation to turn down the volume of the world so you can hear the voice of heaven again. Stillness doesn't mean silence, it means presence. It's not about escaping life, it's about meeting life from a place of peace. Every time you pause, take a deep breath, and quiet your thoughts, you step into sacred space. You begin to remember that you are not what happens to you. You are who you choose to become through it. The world will always be loud, but peace is something you carry within. Stillness is like tuning a radio. You can't catch the right frequency until you stop the static. God is always speaking, but most people never hear Him because they're too busy talking. In that stillness, miracles begin to happen. You start to see things more clearly. Answers that once seemed far away begin to appear naturally. You feel your anxiety melting into faith, your confusion turning into clarity, and your exhaustion transforming into calm strength. It's not that life suddenly becomes easy, it's that you learn to face it from a higher place. You stop reacting to chaos and start responding with wisdom. You begin to see that stillness isn't the absence of movement, it's the presence of purpose.
So today, ask yourself, what's the noise that has been stealing your peace? Is it the fear of not being enough? The pressure to impress others? The voice that tells you you're running out of time? Whatever it is, silence it with faith. The moment you choose stillness, you choose strength. The moment you choose quiet, you choose clarity. Because peace doesn't come from having less noise around you, it comes from having more faith within you. Surrender is one of the most misunderstood concepts in spiritual life. Many people think surrender means giving up or losing control. But in truth, surrender is the highest form of strength. It's when you stop fighting battles that were never yours to fight and start trusting the one who already won them. It's when you say, God, I don't know how this will work out, but I trust that you do. That's not weakness, that's power guided by wisdom. The art of surrender begins when your will meets His will and you realize that His plan was always better than your own. Think about a seed. Before it becomes a tree, it must fall to the ground and let go of its shell. That's surrender. It looks like death at first, but it's the beginning of life. In the same way, you must sometimes let go of your comfort, your timeline, and your understanding before you can grow into your true potential. Surrender doesn't mean doing nothing. It means doing what you can and trusting God with what you can't. It's an active choice to live by faith instead of fear, to move forward even when you can't see the full picture. There's a sacred peace that comes when you finally stop resisting what God is trying to do. You stop asking, why me? And start saying, teach me. You stop clinging to outcomes and start embracing the process. You begin to understand that everything you lose on the path of surrender makes room for something far greater to enter your life. Every tear becomes a seed, every delay becomes a lesson, and every closed door becomes divine protection. You start to realize that God's no is often a greater mercy than the yes you were praying for. So the next time life feels heavy, whisper these words, "Be still." Let that phrase be your anchor in the storm. Remember that surrender doesn't mean you've lost. It means you've chosen peace over panic, trust over control, and faith over fear. The art of surrender is not about escaping your circumstances. It's about discovering freedom within them. Because when you let go of your plan, you make space for God's plan. And His plan is always, always better. Waiting is one of the hardest lessons in life. It tests your patience, your trust, and your faith all at once. You pray, you believe, and you hope, but time seems to stand still. You start to wonder if God has heard you, or maybe He has forgotten you. The silence feels heavy, and doubt begins to whisper in your ear. But what if the silence isn't absence? What if the waiting is sacred space? Space where God is working on things you cannot yet see? Because sometimes the longer the preparation, the greater the purpose that's being built. When you learn to be still in your waiting season, you discover that waiting is not wasted. God is using every moment to shape your heart, strengthen your character, and prepare your path. You may not see movement on the surface, but underground, the roots are growing deeper. Just like a seed doesn't sprout the moment it's planted, your prayers are taking root in unseen soil. The delay is not denial, it's divine timing. God is arranging the right people, the right opportunities, and the right season for your breakthrough to bloom. Faith in the waiting season means trusting even when you have no evidence to support your hope. It's waking up every day and choosing to believe that God is still good even when life doesn't feel fair. It's saying, I don't understand this delay, but I trust that it's leading me somewhere beautiful. This is where true faith matures. It's easy to believe when everything is going your way, but unshakable faith is born in the dark, in the quiet, in the waiting. That's where your spiritual roots grow strongest. So if you're in a waiting season right now, don't rush it. Don't despise it. Let it teach you patience, humility, and resilience. Keep your heart open, your hands ready, and your spirit still. Because one day when everything falls into place, you'll look back and realize the waiting wasn't punishment, it was preparation. You'll see that every moment of silence was God whispering, "Be still, I'm working on it." Fear is one of the greatest enemies of peace. It sneaks into your mind quietly and grows through your thoughts. It tells you you're not enough, that things won't work out, that you're too late, too broken, too far gone. Fear feeds on motion. It thrives when your mind is restless and your heart is racing. But stillness starves fear. Because when you slow down, breathe, and remember who God is, fear loses its voice. That's the hidden strength in the verse, "Be still and know that I am God." The moment you know, fear begins to fade. Stillness doesn't mean pretending that fear doesn't exist. It means refusing to let fear control the narrative. It's standing in the storm and saying, "Even here, I trust you." Every time you pause to pray instead of panic, you weaken fear's grip. You realize that courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the decision to keep moving forward in faith despite it. Fear will always try to shout, but stillness teaches you to listen to the quieter, stronger voice of peace that whispers beneath the noise.
You see, fear tells you to run, but stillness reminds you to rest. Fear wants you to react, but faith invites you to respond. When you choose stillness, you are choosing alignment with divine truth over emotional chaos. You are declaring that the God who created the universe is greater than whatever threatens your peace. And suddenly, you find yourself calmer, stronger, and more grounded. Not because the storm disappeared, but because you finally realized who is in the boat with you. So when fear comes knocking, don't fight it with noise. Don't drown it with distraction. Sit quietly in faith and let the verse rise within you. Be still and know that I am God. Let those words echo in your heart until fear has nowhere left to hide. Because peace isn't found in a life without fear. It's found in the presence of the one who is greater than fear. When you choose stillness, you choose victory. Transformation doesn't begin when your situation changes. It begins when your mind changes. Your thoughts are the architects of your reality, shaping how you see yourself, how you respond to challenges, and how you interpret God's silence. The truth is, your life moves in the direction of your strongest thoughts. If your mind is filled with fear, you will live cautiously. If your mind is filled with faith, you will live courageously. That's why Scripture reminds us to be transformed by the renewing of your mind, because what you think repeatedly becomes what you believe, and what you believe shapes who you become. When God says, "Be still," He's not just asking you to quiet your surroundings, He's asking you to quiet your mind. The battlefield of faith is not outside you, it's within you. Every day, you're bombarded by messages of fear, pressure, and doubt. The world tells you that you need to hurry, to prove yourself, to compare. But stillness rewires your mind. It teaches you to slow down long enough to see the truth. It tells you that you are not what the world says about you. You are what God has declared over you. And His voice is always gentle, loving, and sure. Renewing your mind means learning to replace fear with faith and panic with prayer. It's choosing to think on what is good, pure, and peaceful, even when life feels chaotic. It's a daily discipline, not a one-time revelation. Every morning, you have to decide, will I feed my faith or feed my fear? Will I dwell on problems or will I meditate on promises? The more you choose peace, the more natural it becomes. Slowly, your thoughts begin to align with truth, and that truth sets you free from the prison of anxiety and overthinking. So today, protect your mind like sacred ground. Don't allow every thought to plant itself in the garden of your soul. Choose what you focus on. Choose what you speak over yourself. Choose stillness when the world demands noise. Because the mind that is renewed by peace will always find God, even in the middle of chaos. And once your mind is still, your life begins to follow. Many people believe that God only reveals Himself in miracles, in thunder, or in moments of glory. But the truth is far more beautiful. God hides Himself in the ordinary. He's in the sunrise that wakes you gently. He's in the laughter of a friend, in the quiet rhythm of your breathing, in the tears that fall during prayer, and even in the silence between your words. When you learn to be still, you start noticing His presence everywhere. The mundane becomes sacred, and what once felt routine becomes revelation. Stillness opens your spiritual eyes. You begin to see that nothing in your life is random. Every delay, every coincidence, every meeting has divine fingerprints all over it. God doesn't only move through miracles, He moves through moments. The cup of coffee you drink in peace, the song that touches your soul, the stranger who smiles at you on a hard day. All of these are tiny reminders that you are seen, loved, and guided. The more still your heart becomes, the more clearly you see that God was never far. He was simply waiting for you to slow down enough to notice Him. Gratitude grows in that stillness. You stop chasing the next big thing and start appreciating the little things that keep your world beautiful. You realize that blessings aren't always loud or obvious. Sometimes they're as simple as the ability to breathe, to walk, to forgive, or to start again. And as your awareness deepens, you find peace not in the extraordinary, but in the everyday. Life stops feeling like a race and starts feeling like worship. So, if you've been searching for God, stop looking far away. Look around you. Look within you. He's there, in the ordinary, in the now, in the quiet. Every moment becomes holy when you're present enough to feel His touch. That's the secret of stillness. It doesn't bring God closer to you. It brings you closer to God. This one verse, "Be still and know that I am God," was never meant to just be read. It was meant to be lived. It's not only a message for Sunday mornings or for moments of prayer. It's a truth for every day, every situation, every breath. To live this verse daily means to carry peace wherever you go, even when life feels uncertain. It means walking through chaos without letting chaos walk through you. It means trusting God's plan even when it doesn't match your timeline. When you live this verse, your reactions begin to change. You no longer respond to stress the way you used to. When problems arise, you don't rush to panic. You pause to pray. When people hurt you, you don't react in anger. You rest in peace. When you face decisions, you don't move out of fear. You move out of faith. The stillness becomes part of you, shaping your thoughts, your choices, and your energy. You realize that peace isn't just a place you visit. It's a posture you live in. Every day brings new opportunities to practice stillness. Maybe it's choosing silence instead of arguing. Maybe it's taking 5 minutes each morning to breathe and thank God before checking your phone. Maybe it's pausing before making a decision, asking quietly, "Lord, what would you have me do?" These little moments of stillness create big transformations over time. They strengthen your spirit and keep your heart anchored no matter what the world throws your way. When you make stillness your lifestyle, life begins to flow differently. You stop chasing blessings, they start finding you. You stop begging for answers, they start revealing themselves. You stop fighting for control, and peace becomes your natural state. That's the hidden miracle of living this verse daily. It doesn't just change your circumstances, it changes you. And when you change, everything around you begins to align with grace. When you finally understand this verse, something powerful happens inside you. You stop striving, you stop fearing, you stop running, you start trusting. You begin to see that peace isn't the absence of problems, it's the presence of God in the middle of them. You realize that every moment of stillness was never a pause in your life story. It was a preparation for a new chapter. God was not delaying your destiny. He was deepening your roots so that when your blessings arrived, you'd be strong enough to hold them. This one verse can truly transform your whole life, not by changing your external world first, but by awakening your inner world. When you embrace stillness, your faith grows deeper, your vision becomes clearer, and your heart becomes lighter. You start to experience what the Bible calls the peace that surpasses all understanding. It's not logical peace. It's not fragile peace. It's divine peace, the kind that stays with you when everything else falls apart. So today, make this verse your declaration. Be still and know that I am God. Say it when you wake up. Whisper it when you feel overwhelmed. Repeat it when you're afraid. Let it become the soundtrack of your life,
a steady rhythm of trust beating beneath every moment. Every time you say it, you're reminding your soul that it's safe, loved, and held. You're reminding yourself that you are not in this life alone. You are guided, protected, and deeply known.
Your new beginning starts here, not in the next opportunity, not in the next miracle, but in this very moment of stillness. Because once your heart learns to rest, your faith learns to rise. Let go of the rush, breathe deeply, and remember, you don't need to have all the answers. You just need to be still and know that He is God.